Yeah, I felt that I felt that I was up 2-3 points because of the early rounds.
Israil Madrimov has exposed the three judges as the culprits behind his loss on Saturday night and even exposed some secret things they did. The Uzbekistan fighter believed he did just enough to win. However, the corrupt judges took his win from him. Israil Madrimov had the saddest night of his 12-match boxing career after his world title was stolen from him by Terence Crawford. At least, that's what he believes. But after the fight, he placed the blame on not only Terence Crawford, but also on the judges that scored the fight.
Well, Israel, it's a great performance. I know it's not the result that you wanted, but overall...
According to Madrimov, he saw all of these coming and had spoken about it in the pre-fight conference, only to be ignored by many. It wasn't just one judge, but all three judges knew their winner already. They were making everything for Crawford. I won that fight. This wasn't only Israil Madrimov's argument, but his fans, his countrymen, and everyone else in his team joined in making these claims. While everyone admitted it was a close fight, most boxing fans and professionals believed Crawford did just enough to slightly edge Madrimov. It was already clear when they made the champion come out first. Turkey planned the whole thing for him, Israil Madrimov said. While he's very right in this, another reason why Terence Crawford was the last fighter to come was possibly because he was an undisputed champion until he decided to vacate his titles and move up in weight. However, most boxing supporters felt his undisputed status was bygone.
If you're a boxing fan and never want to miss a fight, Boxing Showtimes is the app you need. This is a professional boxing schedule in your pocket that keeps you up to date on what's going on in the world of boxing. Enjoy watching fights in a bar, sipping a cold one? We got you. An interactive map with your local boxing bars is available to you at any time. And that's not everything. Set reminders, buy tickets, watch official highlights, get boxing news, and so much more. Download now.
And there was no need giving him any special treatment. To Israil Madrimov, it seemed more like he was a victim of circumstance than he was a victim of Crawford's boxing intelligence. And for the rest of his career, such a night as Saturday won't be forgotten in a hurry, as it was the night where he got his first defeat, especially in a very controversial manner.
Saying that I'm gonna get eat up and this and that, but I showed everything inside the ring.
The mostly unknown Madrimov acquitted himself well on the highest profile stage to date for the 29-year-old from Uzbekistan. I fought the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and I believe I did enough because I was the champion, Madrimov said through a translator. I was controlling the rhythm and felt very comfortable inside the ring. I believe that I did really well. It started out as a cautious affair, with both fighters trying to establish position and feel out the other through the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, I felt that I felt that I was up.
That approach did not agree with the capacity crowd at BMO Stadium. Having dealt with blazing temperatures and sunshine for most of the long card at the outdoor home of Major League Soccer team LAFC, they responded with jeers and whistles. I made a couple of mistakes, but I felt I did enough in each round, Madrimov said. I was holding myself back a lot too, so in the rematch I can make a lot more.
I was on the front foot. I was, making him to... And if you look at the punches that were landed, I felt that...
Madrimov said he felt he did enough to win, and that he would like a rematch before his promoter, Eddie Hearn, was interviewed and didn't hold back on his view of the scorecards. 116, 112, 115, 113, and 115, 113 all in favor of Crawford. However, the result was so annoying that Eddie Hearn hopped into the press conference with so much fury and bitterness at the judges.
2 116, 112 cards, and you might say, well, it's 1 round different, but I don't know, I just feel like it was that kind of fight that...
It's a waste of time. It's not a 116, 112 fight. Madrimov was in the fight. He's coming into the fight as the champion, but because he's fighting Terence Crawford, he doesn't get a shake. All of the effective punches were coming from Israil Madrimov. Crawford had a good flurry in, I think, the last or 10th round.
Oh my God, he's won it, hasn't he? And I'm sitting in Terence Crawford's corner.
It was a super close fight. I believe when you come into that ring as champion, he has to take the belt off that champion. Terence Crawford didn't do that. I love him, he's brilliant, but for me, Israil deserves to be champion tonight. And when you hear the scorecards, it's like, why do you bother kind of thing? You lost by 4 rounds on 2 scorecards.
The whole fight. I can see the faces. I can hear the silence. I can see him in the 12th round scream like, you have to win this round.
I was sitting in the corner. They were so quiet the whole fight. The 12th round, we need this. They knew this fight was on a knife edge, and you get absolutely zero respect from the judges because it's Terence Crawford. It feels like a waste of time when you lose 116, 112. It's like they're already filled out before. Everyone knows they were coming up to me saying, "Oh, you've ruined our plans." It was that kind of fight. Crawford's mission to land a Sal Canelo Alvarez fight another 2 divisions up seemed less enthusiastic than it has done in the past. He said the fight would be made if the money was right and that it was another step to greatness, but would be focusing on spending time with his family and enjoying the win in the meantime.
Please. You just hope that, and I was probably a little bit disappointed afterwards, but it just would have been nice to get a split loss.
However, what was even more painful in all of it was the fact that Madrimov and his interpreter saw this corruption coming. However, they hardly paid attention while they spoke. To close Thursday's news conference with favored 3-division world champion Terence Crawford, New World Boxing Association junior middleweight champion Israil Madrimov of Uzbekistan said, "My dream is to create something that nobody expects and win the fight I'm not supposed to win. I believe I can do that Saturday night."
When I see the scorecards, I know scoring subjective. He was 4-0 down on one card.
The point of emphasis for Madrimov and his team Thursday was to make it clear to the 3 judges, referee, and California Commission that an upset is indeed possible, urging them to look for it. Much of this campaigning has to do with some recently criticized scoring in boxing. Robson Conceição's junior lightweight title victory over Oceanique Foster, Sean McComb's split decision loss to unbeaten 140 pounder Arnold Barboza Jr., and Marlon Tapala's split decision triumph last year over Madrimov's stablemate and former junior featherweight champion Murodjan MJ Akhmadaliev. While translating for Madrimov, the fighter's manager, Vadim Kornilov, went off script and said this in English. "I know that I'm fighting the best in Terence Crawford and his team, but I'm also fighting his fans and the rest, and I'm hoping that everything will be fair and neutral."
Even walked in the ring, they already had their fucking plan.
Oh, well, did you think, Lance, going into the decision?
I'm expecting that this event is big enough, the whole world is going to watch this event, and I hope everything will be fair and square on fight night. The astute Crawford cracked. That wasn't the translation. Kornilov admitted he was taking a liberty, but insisted he was speaking the truth. "I don't want anyone to take it the wrong way. There's more to it. Everyone understood what I meant," he said. His stance is partially connected to a fresh wound.
Well, his performance, everybody saw it.
Wednesday night on the Santa Monica, California pier, another Madrimov stablemate and countryman, welterweight Shakram Gyasov, barely remained unbeaten when he defeated Mexico's Miguel Parra by split decision 95, 94, 96, 93, 94, 95, when Gyasov had a point deducted for a low blow by referee David Sullivan. Both Gyasov and Kornilov objected to the ruling and wanted a replay, but the replay system was not available. California State Athletic Commission Executive Officer Andy Foster told Boxing Scene that Nevada referee Jay Noddy will preside over the ringside replay system at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles Saturday night.
Let me slide by you real quick. Let me slide by you real quick.
In addition to staffing respected veteran referee Jack Rice to Crawford Madrimov, the California Commission has assigned judges Steve Weisfeld of New Jersey, Canada's Benoit Roussel, and Fernando Villarreal of California to score the bout. One member of Madrimov's team recommended Roussel for the bout following his 98-92 score favoring McComb over Barboza on April 20th in New York.
It bothers me and I'm irritated because we put in so much fucking work.
Great game plan,
We put in so much fucking work into this.
Crawford's team didn't request a specific judge, asking for the placement of the highest qualified judges possible, according to a California official. "Fans are coming from all over the world because they want the best to win," Kornilov said on the news conference dais for the first U.S. card sponsored by Saudi Arabia's Riyadh season, an effort headed by Turki Al-Sheikh. Boxing experts have speculated Saturday's stacked card is a $70 million show. They're investing millions because what's happening in the business has got to change, Kornilov said. There's too much BS. The best man in the ring has got to win, and I think everybody agrees with that. I don't think anyone here wants to get a decision they don't deserve.
Every fucking day, just to make things happen, you know, to give a great performance like tonight.
Kornilov said he spoke up not because he thinks there's any funny business going on. He said he's certain that while boxing fan Alal Sheikh has designated Crawford a Riyadh season ambassador and has struck up a friendship with the veteran champion, he wants the rightful winner to emerge. Alal Sheikh doesn't take favors. He doesn't want an undeserving winner on his shows. I know that for a fact. He's said that, Kornilov said. The whole world should know that.
Israil, since the beginning, he was frustrating Crawford and throwing the right hand.
While Crawford's pedigree and fame is more substantial than Madrimov, the new champion is also a two-handed power puncher who's dedicated his life to the craft of the sport, piling up more than 300 amateur fights and becoming a champion in his 11th pro bout. Crawford has not been a constant A side fighter. He was the B side in his most recent bout, his signature 9th round TKO of 3-belt welterweight champion Errol Spence 1 year ago this week. Kornilov thinks so highly of Crawford's integrity, he said he'd doubt that Crawford would celebrate a triumph claimed by flawed judging. But Kornilov watched 2 years ago in Las Vegas as all 3 judges, including Weisfeld, scored the first 4 rounds for the more popular Canelo Alvarez over Madrimov's close friend, Russia's WBA light heavyweight champion Dmitry Bivol. Bivol seemed to comfortably win the fight and ultimately emerged victorious, but only by 3-115, 113 scores.
Crawford was just using his jab, tapping his jab, and he will close the round with like a couple of combinations.
Kornilov was aghast when Judge Javier Alvarez delivered his then-champion Akhmadaliev a wide 118-110 score in April 2023, only to watch defeat arrive when judges Sergio Caiz and Jose Roberto Torres each scored the bout 115-113 for Tapales, who then landed a lucrative unification against Japan's Naoya Inoue, while that bout has evaded Akhmadaliev. Madrimov knows all that's happened, Kornilov said, but he doesn't expect the flawed scoring horror stories to force the fighter to chase a knockout as if it's his only route to victory. He worries about this. He's seen his comrades not get these decisions. I'm saying this to make sure everybody feels the responsibility to get it right, Kornilov said.
When I lose the fight, I accept it. You know, I accept the loss. But when I lose like this, it takes me fucking days.
Bud Crawford had much more to lose than Madrimov, hence a loss for him would have done more damage to him than it did to Madrimov. Terence Crawford, the consensus best pound-for-pound boxer in the world, defeated Israil Madrimov by unanimous decision on Saturday night to become a 4-division champion. Crawford won the World Boxing Association's super welterweight title in his first fight at 154 pounds, receiving scores of 116, 112, 115, 113, and 113 on the judges' scorecards. Crawford had not fought since he stopped Errol Spence Jr. in July 2023 to become the undisputed welterweight champion. He has also won titles at super lightweight and lightweight. The victory could set up a fight between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, the reigning 168-pound champion. You know what I say? If the money is right, we gotta fight, Crawford said immediately after the fight. Crawford turned on the pressure in the 4th round, just missing on a fierce right hand in the closing seconds. I didn't want to rush in with anything because that's how I got caught a couple of times, rushing in, trying to eat too soon, Crawford said. But I did my thing. Madrimov was energized in the 5th round after Crawford slipped and ended up on his backside, responding with a series of aggressive punches to put the Omaha, Nebraska native on the defensive. That flurry sent Crawford back into a careful posture for most of the next 2 rounds before landing a rare, effective combination to the body late in the 7th. Madrimov re-established momentum with 3 straight rights to the face in the 8th round. Crawford landed a shot of his own, forcing Madrimov to clench and break the momentum and allowing him to come back with a right hook. He was waiting to counter me just like I was trying to counter him, Crawford said. He was very disciplined. He wasn't coming in throwing wild shots like I intended him to, and it was a very good fight. The action picked up over the next 2 rounds, with both fighters seemingly trying to land power punches instead of trying to string together longer periods of control. Crawford came on in the last 30 seconds of the 11th round. The flurry energized him and carried over to the 12th and final round as he pushed unsuccessfully for a 12th straight win by knockout. Both missed on wild throws in the final minutes, but it was Crawford who emphatically raised both gloves in the air when the bout concluded. It was Bud's debut at 154, having won belts at 135 and being undisputed at both 140 and 147. He looked good on the scales at the new weight and entered the ring a betting favorite against the bigger but much less experienced Uzbek champion. Madrimov stayed competitive throughout and had plenty of success against the American, whose instinct to gear up and go for the finish looked dampened by the power punches coming back at him. The attacks came in bunches, and there were swing rounds that many scoring the fight will take a closer look at in the coming days. The win ended a run of 11 straight stoppage victories, and Crawford praised the tough and strong Madrimov post-fight. Terence Crawford went the distance for the first time in nearly a decade, but he got it done on Saturday night. Hip-hop icon Eminem warmed up the crowd at BMO Stadium on the night with a brief concert to mark Riyadh season's debut boxing event in the United States. Terence Crawford, the best fighter in the world, and Israil Madrimov, the WBA junior middleweight title holder, both made electric entrances into the ring. Fireworks ensued soon after the national anthems. The pomp and circumstance were an appropriate homage for the pound-for-pound king, as Crawford finally got his flowers at a time when he was entering the final act of his Hall of Fame-bound career. Michael Buffer delivered his trademark catchphrase, "Let's get ready to rumble," but the headliners stumbled out of the gates, fumbling their showcase opportunity with a slow yet tactical fight that never switched into second gear. Crawford, a 3-division champion and former undisputed 140 and 147-pound king, went the distance for the first time since 2016, ending a streak of 11 straight stoppage wins. Although Bud bested the Dream, the win was nowhere near the spectacular performance Crawford pulled off last summer against Errol Spence Jr. in a career-defining win. However, Crawford beat WBA super welterweight champion Israil Madrimov via unanimous decision in an exciting 12-round battle at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles on Saturday. That officially handed Crawford, who moved up to 154 pounds for the first time in his career, a 4th title in as many divisions. He had fast feet, he had good rhythm upstairs, and he was strong, Crawford said of Madrimov in the ring. He was waiting to counter me just like I was waiting to counter him. He fought a good fight. Crawford, who started his professional career in 2009 at super lightweight, was a heavy favorite entering the bout on Saturday. There was an issue with his gloves earlier in the night too, as one of them split at the seams. That came only after he initially objected to Madrimov's Grant gloves, though he later agreed to wear them. That delayed his warm-up slightly. The fight started at a timid pace as the switch-hitting Crawford immediately changed his stance from orthodox to southpaw to better get a read on Madrimov. A total of 5 punches were landed between the pair in a controlled, feeling-out frame. The first several rounds were slow, as both guys seemed to be feeling each other out, though Crawford appeared to hold a slight advantage early as Madrimov hung in there. He even landed a few big shots to his head in the 3rd and sent Crawford down to the mat briefly late in the 5th round, though that was ruled a trip and Crawford seemed relatively unbothered. Crawford responded with a combo of headshots in the 6th round to take a step ahead again at the midway point. While Madrimov seemed as if he was getting closer in the 8th and 9th rounds, he landed a massive blow to Crawford's head in the 9th round, which was probably his best of the night. Crawford responded each time successfully. Crawford then came out hot in the final round, and while he couldn't finish Madrimov, he pulled off the victory. Crawford won the fight 115, 113 on 2 scorecards and 116, 112 on the 3rd to claim the unanimous decision. That pushed him to 41-0 and officially handed Madrimov the first loss of his career. Crawford had been angling to continue moving up in weight, claiming he wanted a shot at Saul Canelo Alvarez, the superstar who is unified super middleweight champion. After the fight, Crawford slowed down on the talk, suggesting he was still interested but not pushing hard for the bout, which Turki Alalshik said he'd already sent an offer to Alvarez for. "You know what I say? If the money's right, we've got to fight," Crawford said. At the same time, he has a fight he's focused on. Getting into a fight is not so important to me. It's just another milestone to greatness, I suppose, and financially wise. Turki Alalshik, chairman of the General Entertainment Authority in Saudi Arabia, again promised on Saturday night that he will do everything possible to arrange a Crawford clash against super middleweight king Saul Canelo Alvarez. If Alvarez declines, Alalshik said he would turn his attention to setting up Crawford against Virgil Ortiz Jr., who must first beat Serhii Bohachuk next week. Crawford can also turn his attention to either rematches versus Madrimov and Spence, or fights against the likes of Jaron Ennis, Jermell Charlo, Tim Tszyu, and Sebastian Fundora, who await at 154 pounds. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.